Hey guys, Hector here, and today I'm going to rank every Arthur Season 1 episode from worst to best in detail. So here's my rating system. Now, let's get started. Number 60 is DW's Blanky. Oh yes, I forgot that some of my opinions changed. The reason why I put DW's Blanky so low on this list is because because it was really boring. And in the end it actually turned out that it was just being watched. I know DW is 4, but I know DW is 4, but what was the point of the episode if it was just being watched? I guess it was in her perspective, but that just makes the episode boring and pointless. Number 59 is DW's Baby. This is another point of view for this episode is just Arthur's baby, but with DW's point of view. The first half is decent, but the second half really gets me. I really didn't like that DW just moved to a faraway island just because she thought her parents don't love her anymore. And and I guess it's a bit justifiable because to be fair, she did sell Kate in a garage sale. Number 58 is Poor Muffy. This episode is really boring and Muffy's kind of mean. Sure, I do like Oliver's talk with Muffy that he's lower class, and the reason why he doesn't spend that much money and has only like 3 channels is because he prefers spending time with his family more than his work. But that doesn't save this episode from getting a negative 4 out of 10 from me. I really didn't like this episode because of Muffy's behavior. But Oliver is the only one to save this episode from being at like number 59 or number 60. Number 57 is Arthur's substitute teacher trouble. I think this episode is pretty easy to cringe at. I think the most cringy thing about this episode is that the substitute teacher is too easy. I think she speaks in a really weird tone as well. So yeah, I really don't like this episode that much. Number 56 is Arthur's family vacation. This episode is really boring. I just don't That's all I can say about it. It's boring. Number 55 is Arthur, world's greatest weeper. Usually, if Binky makes a major appearance, then I think the episode is going to be good, because there are so many episodes in season 1 where there are episodes in season 1 where he's a pretty good character. And spoiler alert, I think season 2 ha one of season 2's best episodes is a Binky episode. You'll find out if it's either Night Fright or Binky Barnes art expert. But in this episode, Arthur's accused of gleeping. I don't think he knows what the word gleep means because it's made up. But it doesn't excuse this episode. It doesn't excuse this episode. It's not an excuse for this episode to be very mean spirited towards Arthur. Number 54 is Arthur babysits. I don't think this ep I I like this episode, but I don't think it's that good. I guess I like the way the Tibbles get scared and how Arthur scares them, so he deals with them. But the fact that they were almost that the Tibble twins are very hard to babysit. Like every almost all of their babysitters before Arthur ran away from them because they really like to misbehave. That just shows how unlikable these two are, objectively. Subjectively, I do like these characters, but I have to just go with my guts and judge Arthur babysits on objective on my objective opinion. Number 53 is Stolen Bike. I just think this episode is boring, but it's not as boring as what was in number 56. Well, at least not like cataclysmically boring. Number 52 is Buster Makes the Grade. I do not like the imagined spots in this scene, and I do think that I guess they have to be there because they are scared that Buster may not make the grade, but otherwise this episode is just boring, and those imagined spots seem to be too mean spirited towards Buster. Number 51 is Buster's Dino Dilemma. The first Buster centered episode, Buster's kind of unlikable because he hides a fossil. He hides a fossil even though that's actually the point of that field trip because he really likes the dinos. Anyways, I don't think it's actually. Just going to cut some slack because it's one of the first episodes of the entire series. Speaking of first episodes in the entire series, the next episode is the very first one. Arthur's Eyes. Arthur's Eyes is not that good of an introduction to the show. I mean, I guess I watched this episode first before any other Arthur episode because this is the first episode. This is the series premiere, but and yes, I used to like it, but now it's not that good. I guess I like the design of 2-year-old DW and just DW in general in this episode, but the but it's a bit too mean spirited for the first episode of a kids cartoon. My least favorite part of this episode is that Buster does a complete 180 when he stands up for Arthur that people need glasses to see, but the next scene, Buster is making fun of Arthur by putting 2 cups of glasses on his eyes, make them googly. I really think this is a mistake from the writers, but I'm cutting. But the reason why it's not that low is because this episode is the first episode of the series, so I'm not sure if they really got the. I think they're still getting the hang of it first. Number 49 is Francine Frensky Superstar. Francine's quite unlikable towards her friends, and it's kind of embarrassing for her friends to mess up the play and make it not accurate. I mean, friends, I get. Francine is trying to be perfect, and accurate to Thomas Edison, but fails to, but she actually does some really bad things in this episode. She doesn't even allow Buster to breathe. I guess she gets comeuppance at the end, but in one scene, but after that, but I guess it had to be done because she did that. It's kind of mean spirited, but at least they reform in the end. So Francine reforms in the end, and everyone learns their lesson in the end. So I guess that's a good writing thing, but I do not like Francine Frensky Superstar that much. Number 48 is Arthur Bounces Back. I think Arthur Bounces Back is what do I say? I really do not like this episode that much because because I don't think because I there is some right. I think it just ended in a an awkward note. Arthur does not get Arthur wants to get those moon shoes, and then he doesn't even and then he uses his prize already. Arthur uses his prize before helping or during helping clean the leaves. I guess that's actually pretty confusing to me. Yeah, this episode left me confused, but at least not that boring. Number 47 is Arthur the Wrecker. Seriously, did Arthur really did Arthur and Buster really need to tell Mom that they were playing a game there? I mean, if they didn't, then they would get away scot free, and it would end happily for everyone. I just and yes, I guess it does have to be for the I guess it does have to be for the moral of the episode, but I just it's just confused. It was almost going to get a -2 score, but it's not bad. It's not really bad. So Arthur the Wrecker just gets -3 out of 10. Because I think the ending was kind of confusing. It made the episode pointless. Once again. Number 46 is Buster's new friend. That Arthur almost breaks his friendship with Buster this episode, and that's just something I don't really like. Number 45 is Arthur's chickenpox. DW is happy about getting chickenpox in this episode, and that's just awkward. Number 44 is DW's Snow Mystery. It's no mystery. It's Snow Mystery that I do not like this episode that much, because this episode has the problem throughout the whole season that it's actually kind of boring in my opinion. Number 43 is Arthur's tooth. I guess it's not that boring, but I guess it's kind of creepy, and I just think there's something I don't like about this episode, but I can't put my finger on it. Number 42 is Arthur's first sleepover. This is the sister episode of the finale of season. This is the first segment of the final episode of season 1. And it's actually pretty fitting that this is paired with Arthur's New Year's Eve, because usually people wake up at midnight. To celebrate New Year's Eve. But otherwise, I just think there's not much to like about this episode anyway. Number 41 is Arthur's Lost Dog. Another boring episode from the season. I think this is it's not one of the most boring. I just think it's moderately boring. It's just the overarching problem of season 1, that most of the episodes are really boring. This episode would have been much better if this was post Secret Life of Pets and Babies, because Pal's actually sensitive for Kate, but otherwise I don't like this episode that much.